I got to open up with this. What is the Curry cheat code? What? How do you guys have the cheat code to shooting? How do
Cheat
all?
code, man.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I get asked that question all the time, bro. I don't know. I think
bro.
it's
There's
probably in the
something
blood.
going on, bro. There's something that y'all are not telling the rest of us because y'all are all great at golf. Y'all all can shoot. All great golfers. Ray Allen, your brother, you, your dad. There's something that y'all not telling us that y'all just holding out on.
I mean, it's all in the touch. It's all in the touch, the fingertips, man. It's a feeling, man. I don't know. I think me and Steph grew up watching the game and watching my pop. So I think we just soaked it all in, being around him.
All right. Well, you could tell me off air. You could just tell me off air. You could just because I got to get my 3-point percentage up for sure. But now that we got that out the way, again, thanks for joining us. What's new with you, man? How you been handling this whole lockdown?
Man, just low key with it, man. Just been at the house as much as possible, trying to follow all the guidelines and all the rules, man. It's been tough. I'd probably say the first 2 weeks was the toughest because I've been going to the gym my whole life. For the last 20 years, I've been going to the gym every day and getting shots up. So I probably went 2 months without getting a real basketball workout in, any shots up. So that's tough. I know you feeling the same way.
Yeah, it's been a struggle to say the least. I talked to my pops last episode. He talked about how Steve Ballmer has got each player has got a Peloton and a Peloton treadmill and bike and set up weight rooms or workout rooms for everybody, which is crazy. What have you guys done? Have you guys done anything as a group? Do you guys have team meetings, team workouts? What are you guys doing right now?
I mean, they sent us, so like the first couple of weeks, they let us, asked us what we had at the house, and they sent us all the workout equipment for us to build our own little personal gyms, whatever we needed. And from then on out, they kind of left us alone. They let us do our own thing. We haven't had one real team meeting, really. We had one like mental health meeting, but other than that, they left us alone. Checked on our health, obviously, but as far as basketball stuff, we haven't talked about it. You can see it's funny because all different teams are doing different stuff. Like, what have y'all been doing as a team?
We haven't done anything.
Yeah. But I know other teams have had meetings every day.
Yoga meetings at 10 a.m. We have team yoga meetings at 10 a.m. on Wednesday.
Yeah, they haven't even given us that option.
Yeah, okay. So I guess we're not at the bottom of the pack then. We're right there in the middle, I guess. Obviously, we're taping on May 16th just in case anything changes. But, let's talk about, I guess, what you have heard in regards to the NBA returning. I feel like every day there's a new myth or a new story, a new theory of what's going to happen with this year's season. What have you heard?
Man, I'm hearing what I see on Twitter pretty much. I've talked to a couple of people, but they don't really know any more than the other person. So whatever I hear from the back channels, from personal relationships, that's what ends up getting tweeted out. So everybody knows the same stuff right now.
Right, because I know Woj and Shams both reported that, like LeBron, Giannis, Steph, and I think a couple other people all got in a conference call and started talking. So they haven't talked about anything else, like just the usual stuff that everybody else knows?
Yeah, I haven't even talked to Steph about that I don't think, they're just probably just gauging their feelings about things and how they would feel about coming back. And, I don't think no decisions came out of that meeting.
Would you like to do would you personally like to have the season come back, or would you just like to at this point Nah,
I want to play, man. I want to play. I don't want to sit out another 6-8 months of not playing any competitive basketball. I'm ready to go back, whatever situation that is, whether it's a lockdown or in one city. I want to get to the playoffs. Because you're on a playoff team,
obviously. I think the opinion changes for a lot of players. If you ask someone who's playing on a non-contending team or a team that's not going to playoffs who only has 8 or 9 games left, some of those guys are like, man, we're already too late. Let's just call it. It's so easy for them to say that. But for guys who have put in so much work and play on playoff teams, especially for guys, like us who, sacrifice a lot for playing for a playoff team. We don't put up numbers that we would if we were on, a team that's not a non-playoff team. You know what I mean? Where you get more shots, more playing time. There's not these superstar players. Obviously, we both play on teams that are heavy field roster teams, but the reward is going to the playoffs. That's my reward. That's your reward.
Me personally, I don't want to waste a year, man. Like you only got so many years to play in this league.
Right. That's right.
And you don't want to waste a year of opportunity to win a championship to play in the playoffs. I know last year was my first time. You've done it a lot more than that, but I mean that feeling of playing in a playoff game is special, and I don't want to waste it.
Yeah, man. We could talk about that in a little bit. How you definitely, obviously, you've had multiple, breakout moments, but I thought last year was your definite time where, you really broke out and showed people that obviously you've been showed that you were a good player, but that you could play at that level, at that stage. I mean, you look like you've been in the playoffs for like 6-7 years. Last year, how comfortable you were. So I know for sure you want to get back out there. Your team is, especially with right now how even the NBA is, anybody can win. I know everybody has the Lakers being the favorite, but with this break now, the chemistry and everything is just kind of flatlined. So I think everybody starts from scratch and jumps right back in the playoffs kind of fresh like this. I think anything can happen. But I would like to take a second and kind of take it back and go before the league. Obviously, we both are from basketball families. We grew up in the hoops world, kind of have that basketball royalty background. Just talk about growing up, man. Playing, it's always curious. I always ask people, what their past is like and how they grew up playing. But I've always been interested. Me and you actually have never had this talk. You grew up in the same type of background that I come from, the same cloth, I guess you were cut from, and obviously everybody's different. But I'd like to hear your perspective of how it was growing up with a father like Dale.
Yeah, man, it was dope, bro. I was, like you said, I was able to go into NBA practices from a young age to watch NBA players and people doing what they do at the highest level every single day. So I feel like we both were soaking up knowledge without even knowing it. So just being around those guys, learning so much stuff. And as a kid, you're just having fun. I felt like guys like Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady were my friends going into the gym because I saw them every day. But, right. They were icons. So, I mean, it was dope just having a father that played in the NBA and, obviously brought more eyes and a little bit more attention and more competition on me playing in the city of Charlotte at a young age. But it made me better.
And talk about, like, I got to ask, what were your one-on-one battles growing up? Like Steph, I mean, growing up, did you see Steph? Obviously, he was a really good player, but he wasn't like a highly touted, recruited player in high school. You know what I mean? Like, y'all one-on-one battles, were there any flashes of when you guys played that you thought Steph could reach the magnitude or the level that he's reached?
I mean, I didn't think he would get to this level as good as he's got in the league, but he was always very good. He always had the skills he had.
Right.
And he was always a little bit better than me. So he was always pushing me to always want to be better than him. That's where my edge and my competitive drive came from, because I felt like he was only like 2.5, 3 years older. So I felt like I was close, but I could never like really beat him every single time. So
right.
That drove me in. It made me better at every step of the way, just because I felt like I was always chasing somebody.
Right, because I can imagine growing up from playing one-on-one. I've gotten to play against my dad, but he's a coach, so I haven't gotten that experience of. You went from playing one-on-one to your brother to last year. I mean, that was so fun to watch. I remember sitting at home. I was obviously pissed that we were out the playoffs, but getting to watch you and your brother get to play against each other at that level, how fun was that?
Oh, that was dope, man. It was dope. Just play at that level, like you said, all eyes on us. It was great for the league. They were hyping it up. And it was weird because we used to compete and play all the time when we were younger, even up into high school. But once we got to college, we worked out, but we didn't compete at the same level and play against each other one-on-one as much as we did, because, I mean, our schedules were hectic. So,
right.
But to match up against him, and it's a little bit different edge. You notice having the siblings you do, it's a little bit different edge when you match up against them than anybody else. Yeah,
it definitely, I think it raised just your level of play. I think it just like, I'm sure it raised his. Y'all had that little, I don't know which game it was. It was in Golden State. Y'all had that little, I think it was it overtime?
I'll tell you what game. It was game 3 or game 2 in Golden State. Yeah, man, that was a tough one.
Y'all went like back and forth, hit some shots. Yeah. Y'all just kept one-upping each other with big shot, to the point where like Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum were like looking for you because you've already had hit multiple big shots. That's one thing I've actually, I don't want to switch gears, but I've seen with your game over the past 2 years, you've inserted yourself as coming into Portland, sixth, seventh man to being, eighth man to being in the playoffs where you were like one of the main options. This year in Dallas, you come in, you're fighting for minutes early to where after Luka and Porzingis, you were the third option this year. I mean, you were the third guy that, if Porzingis wasn't having a big game, then they would, go to you. If Luka, it seemed like over the course of the season, obviously you guys have a lot of good players that step up for y'all team, but it seemed like you're constantly just continuing to get better, which goes to show you everybody's timing is different. But yeah, that was impressive to see last year. And that was so much fun to watch. I've always dreamed of playing against my brother, so I'm jealous in that regard. Have you ever thought about playing with your brother?
I thought about it. I had some early in my career. I had some opportunities to play on the Warriors and go there and obviously take a much lesser role. Having the team stacked the way they had it the last few years.
Right. But what about now? As the player you are now?
Nah, I always turned them down because I never really wanted to play on this team. I'd rather compete against them. I'm going to be compared to him and somewhat in his shadow, whether I'm on this team or not. So it's going to multiply it. If I were on the same team. So I like to create my own path and doing my own thing.
Has Steph ever brought that up to you? Has he ever pushed for you, to play with him?
He's kind of been the other way too. Like he's kind of pushed me in the other direction. He wants me to
so he's always pushed you
do my thing. Yeah, because he knows what kind of pressure I get under when compared against him and playing against him and being on the same team. He knows what it would be like. So he's kind of pushed me the opposite direction of going my own separate way.
Yeah, that's dope of him actually to do, man. I was telling you, I got to play for my pops for a little bit, obviously, as everybody knows, and it was great at times. But once it was done, I think we were both glad it was done, and it's something that I could never do again. I mean, I could never play for him, and it has nothing to do with him or as a coach. That type of whatever you want to call it, I just couldn't be under it again. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty dope, and it's fun to watch you guys compete against each other. Another thing I want to talk about or something I want to switch into is just your recruiting. Obviously, you guys both went the same type of route, but then, you just, alluded to you doing your own path and doing your own steps. Steph stayed at Davidson, was, able to get drafted there. You were one of the top scorers in the country at Liberty, and then totally took that jump to go into the biggest college in my eyes. I'm repping it right now, just in case people don't know. The biggest D1 college with the most limelight, and that's Duke University.
Yeah, man. I was running my own race, create my own journey, and obviously I was able to watch Steph and the success he had playing at a mid-major level for 3 years, and I just felt like I needed something new after my first year at Liberty. I needed a little bit more of a push because I knew I had a chance to play in the NBA one day, but I didn't feel like I was getting ready at that level. I don't think I was being pushed enough and competing against the good enough players, and I feel like I just wouldn't be ready when it came that time to make that jump to the NBA. So it was kind of the perfect situation for me to go to Duke and play for the best coach in college history.
Yeah, I also feel like that was before the era of where you could go to a small college and get drafted. Unless you had like Steph Curry type numbers where you went to the tournament and put on a show and like had that magical run that Steph did. After that, obviously, he got that type of attention. But nowadays, you could be a Ja Morant, Damian Lillard, or CJ McCollum. All these guys can go to these schools like a Liberty. And if you're, putting up those numbers, I think because of guys like Steph who have paved that way, now you have, a multitude of guys coming from small colleges. So
but for me, it was even more about like, I feel like if I just put up crazy numbers at Liberty, I probably would have got drafted and maybe had a chance to play in the league. But for me, it was about once I got there, would I be ready to play in the league? You know how it is. Like it's more about staying in the league. You can get drafted, but a lot of guys don't. In your draft class, probably ain't even still in the league. Don't make it a few years. And I felt like I needed to. Once I got there, I needed to be ready to have a long career, and Duke prepared me for that.
Talk about how. I'm interested to know how Coach K recruited you, or how did that go about of you just, because Duke is just so random. You know what I mean? You went from Liberty to Duke. obviously. And then you had to sit out that year. You got to watch Kyrie and all these other great guys, Nolan Smith, Kyle Singler. So you had a front row seat at that the year you had to sit out. But talk about that whole process.
Yeah, man. I announced I was going to transfer, and I could have pretty much went anywhere in the country I wanted to, but I obviously wanted to stay close to home in the ACC. And Coach K gave me a call. Went on my visit. He put up all the different little old Duke highlight tapes that I've seen growing up, watching all the time. The JJ Reddicks, the Trajan Langdons, all those type of guys that I used to watch and love that game. So he talked about how I could fit in, and he just kind of just wooed me with the Duke soft, man. When you walk around there and you know how it is, you feel, you walk in the camera, you feel the aura of all the memories, and you want to be a part of it. So it was a great visit, and it was hard to turn down that Duke experience.
And for the people who don't know, or I guess not familiar with, obviously me and you played at Duke together. Had some amazing times and moments there. Obviously the first thing that comes to I think a lot of people's minds is us losing to CJ, who was also your teammate in Portland. Did he ever bring that up?
I had to hear about it. I had to hear about it all the time, man. That's literally the highlight of his life right there. Like, it's crazy when you hear people talk about Duke and beating Duke. Like, that's one game. Like, but to us, it's more about trying to win championships and stuff. But they usually bring it up all the time. It's never gonna stop.
Yeah, I can't. Every year they do like 4 years since, or 10 years since, 11 years. Yeah. Every year I get a reminder on that date of what happened that day. I still don't even remember that game. It was like just something that just happened. I don't know how that team was even, because if you go back and look at their team, they were terrible. But none of those players could.
CJ just went off on us, man. We weren't ready for it. We didn't know much about him and coming into it, and they just jumped on us, and we can never get back over the hump. But I feel like that year we had a lot of ups. But even going into that tournament,
that year was,
we had a lot of ups and downs. But going into that tournament, it felt like something just wasn't right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I felt like.
Coach K almost had a heart attack that year due to our team. I remember literally he had like chest problems or something like that because he was trying to get a hold of our team. We had so many issues with that team. I remember he made Andre Dawkins sit crisscross applesauce in the middle of the floor and made us run sprints around him because Andre was acting up. We had so many
it's a lot of epic stories.
Meditation meetings. Yeah,
it's a lot of epic stories and things, but when you look back, it's crazy how many NBA players we had on that team too.
I know that's what's more embarrassing because that's what I'm saying. Like, you look at their roster, and then you looked at our roster. We had 5 or 6 pros on one team. They had one. And I remember a warm up line. Quinn. I told Quinn about this the other day. Quinn was at the back of the warm up line, a layup line, and so some guys in their team was too. I remember the dude was like shaking his head like this, like they were ready to play us. Quinn goes, "Man, y'all suck. We better beat y'all by 30." And then it was like second half of the game, we was down like 8. I looked at Quinn. Quinn goes, "Hey man, we can't let this happen, bro." I said, "Bro, this ain't looking good, man." They just every shot went. But you know how it is. Once you give those type of teams, it's like an AAU. At AAU when you play those bad teams, but you fuck around and mess around with the team, and then now fourth quarter you in a dogfight, and at that point anything can happen. That's exactly what happened.
Gave them that confidence, and they ran with it. Like I said,
100%. If we would have just jumped on them from the jump,
the whole game.
100%. If we would have jumped on from the jump, that game would have been dead. The Lehigh moment is a stain on, I think, on everybody at Duke at that time's reputation. I remember going back to school that next week. Everybody was just embarrassed. I don't think anybody went to class that entire week when we lost to Lehigh.
I felt like I was in my room, in my apartment for like a week after that, man.
I was embarrassed to lose first round, bro. First round. We lost first round.
Yeah. I feel like and the next week, us guys, not you, but the guys who had to come back next year, we were back in individual workouts the next week going hard.
Oh, my God. I know Wojo and CC. Oh, man. I don't even want to know what those were like.
Yeah, it was rough.
Let's talk about some happy moments. We could talk about the Carolina game, obviously the buzzer beater at Carolina. We could talk about the Kansas, the Maui. I think those are probably definitely the 2 highlights of that year. And then actually what, people probably don't know is after that Carolina game is me and you personally kind of went on a streak. I mean, it was like North Carolina State, Virginia, all these games, me and you really like put the team kind of on our back. But let's talk about the Maui since that happened first. Just us winning that Maui tournament, Tyler hitting that shot.
Yeah, that was a good time. Like, we went out to Maui, obviously Hawaii, winning that tournament. That was a great memory for us as a team to get that season started off right. But like you said, after that Carolina game, there was a lot of moments where we had that 1-2 punch going. The NC State game was probably one of my favorite games of that year.
For sure.
We were down big and at home in Cameron, and we just went back and forth and got us back into that game and ended up winning it. So, we had a lot of epic 1-2 punch moments back in the day. And
I thought we were one of the more underrated. I think that year, obviously, Kentucky got so much attention, rightfully so. They were like undefeated for the most part. But I thought me and you were one of the most underrated backcourt duos that season. I thought we were 1 or 2 or 3, however you want to put us. But they had all these other teams and other duos, but I didn't think anybody could really fuck with us, to be completely honest. I feel like if we went against anybody, we could handle our own. We talk about that Carolina game. I always try to explain to everybody, we went into that game just trying to compete. I tell people this all the time. They were a much better team. They were, I want to say a much better team, but they were a better team. I mean, they had 5 or 6 pros too, and they had some really good college players. And they were long and athletic. They had played together for a while. Just talk about that game and how it happened, because we were down like 13 with like 3 minutes left, and then somehow came back. I don't know how it was just weird. It just happened.
Yeah, one of the dope things about the quarantine is they replaying a lot of old games on ESPN, so I probably watched that game like 2 or 3 times in the past 2 months. But I was talking to Nolan the other day about those Carolina teams, and they were, like you said, stacked. Man, they had 7 to 8 first-round draft picks, like NBA-sized lineups, and when you go on the floor with them, you feel like they're a good team today. You gotta bring it. So that first Carolina game on the road. We were down big, like you said, and I just remember I hit a 3 to cut to like 8 or something like that, and I looked up at the clock and I was like, oh, we still got a chance, because I felt like the game was over. Like we were down so much, and it was like, oh, we still got a chance, and then like the perfect storm just to get us back in, and obviously you coming down making that crazy big time shot on the road, man, and it's epic videos, epic clips of me, and you already know what it is, me in the corner.
Yeah, you in the corner yelling at me to go.
Yeah.
You in the corner like, bro, go.
I remember after the game, you were just like, I didn't even see you, bro. Like, some people were saying I wanted the ball. Some people, it was a whole bunch of different things that people were thinking I was saying. But I was like, yo, this guy, it's 2 seconds on the clock, and you're backing up to just get your moment, get your rhythm and your feet right. But
all the people who knew my game knew I was going to shoot that little stutter 3. Yeah. Like, that's why I was backing up into it. But I think the play was for us not to go for the win, it's to tie. So, I think everybody was like, go, like, go to the basket. And, like, I honestly remember this. I remember, like, honestly, I'm not even kidding. I remember getting that ball, and there was no way I was passing the ball. I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. Unless it was, like, someone wide open. Like, 'cause I remember the play was actually Andre Doc was supposed to come off like a down screen. I didn't even look that direction, bro. Like, it wasn't happening. Yeah, and then I was just like, I had Tyler Zeller on me.
Yeah, Dre was clapping for it. That's why you had a big on you. So I know you can walk around him and get to the lane, and we down 2 or whatever it is. So I'm thinking. I
just know how it goes with John Henson at the basket, all these things. I was just like, man, I'm not trying to. So I just backed up, and I was like, also, I swear I was thinking to myself, I was like, I don't know. We barely hung in that game. So, like, I don't know if we go to overtime, like, how we would fare. Like, so I was just like, I'm trying to, at that point, it was just like, I'm just going to go for it.
They were the better team for sure. But I just remember as soon as you released it, I knew it was going in off the fingertips, man. So I was already running down the court, ready to celebrate.
Yeah, because you tackled me first. I hit the shot, and I didn't even know what to do. I thought there was more time left. I just looked at the crowd. I turned around. You had just grabbed me, and then like a whole team just that. Man, I remember Quinn was talking crazy to the crowd. That was a hell of a game. That turned us around and should have propelled us in the right way. Because after that, we played really, really well. Because we had lost to Miami 2 or 3 days before that.
Yeah. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in there after that, yeah. It was.
Oh my God, that was the craziest moment in terms of how silent. Because that gym went from being the loudest to the quiet Most quiet gym I've ever seen, man. It was crazy. Or heard that was crazy. Sticking with the college segment, I really am actually interested in your opinion, especially since you've been there. What are your thoughts on kids skipping college to go to the G League?
I think it's good to have another route, another path to the league if you want to take it. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't trade my journey. I know I played 4 years in college, so there's so many memories. It's about the business and about the money these days more than it's ever been. But some of those memories I got in college, I know I wouldn't get. I wouldn't trade it for money. So
you wouldn't, if you could do it all over again, you wouldn't, if you had the chance to go straight to the G League, you would.
Yeah, I probably would. Yeah, I probably would go to college, man. Personally, because it's about the memories, just preparing me for the league. And I was in a totally different situation. Like I knew I wasn't ready for the NBA. So if those kids really feel like they ready for the NBA and can play and stick when they get the opportunity and they get there, then why not go and get paid right away?
You think the NCAA is in trouble with this type of stuff? Because like obviously now they're gonna have to pay because all these top guys. The only reason I say that is because this has been something that's been explored the past couple of years. You had guys going overseas, Brandon Jennings, Emmanuel Mudiay, LaMelo Ball, whatever. But now straight to the G League. We're not talking about we're talking about the number 1 player is going and then number 3 player, number 5 player. Like it's becoming more and more aggressive to where I fear that college basketball is going to start missing out on some of the most exciting players. Yeah,
and they might be in trouble because just like the league, they market the best teams, they market the best players, and they need some star talent to get people to watch. Like it's the talent level has definitely fallen off over the past few years.
100%.
As far as college basketball, I know you a guy that's that were in that situation where you were one of the top players in the country, and you could have went that route. Like, what would you do if that was the situation right now?
I honestly can't even answer that question. I swear I can't. I don't know. I don't think as a maturity standpoint, I was ready for the NBA to go out of high school. Everybody's different. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't have the frame of LeBron James or Dwight Howard had. I didn't have that type of ability. You know what I mean? I was 6'3" at the time. I was super skinny. I needed college basketball. Not only from the physical standpoint, from the mental standpoint of learning just how to mature. I needed college personally.
Yeah,
if I had to take it all back.
Yeah, like I said, but just off potential, you would have gotten an opportunity. You would have made a little bit of money and got a chance to play in the league.
Right. I mean, if they would have allowed us to go straight from high school, you can make the case I might have went even farther in the draft. Like I would have maybe went top 5. Mm-hmm. I was number 1 or 2 behind me and Anthony Davis. But I don't think at a physical and maturity standpoint, I was ready to come out of high school. I needed Duke. I learned so much in that 1 year. People always ask, what can you learn in 1 year? I learned a lot. Shit. And it's also the only reason I'm worried about the NCAA is because they can't pay players. Everybody's saying they're going to pay players. There's no way to do. Once you open that avenue, first off, how are you going to pay the same amount a Duke basketball player makes that a Duke lacrosse or soccer player makes? There's 55 players there's a quarterback make the same as the kicker. And then because now they're getting paid, now you're going to have people, boosters and stuff, illegally paying. Like there's going to be no way to track. It's just going to be a mess. Like I don't understand how you do that, especially the colleges that make much more. How does Duke players going to make more than a Liberty team? You know what I mean? Or the evenly, is it like a set amount? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I don't understand what they're going to do.
It's going to get real complicated if that's the route they're going to go. So they gotta change the whole model, man, and figure it out, or it's gonna be a bad product come a few years.
Yeah, I personally don't even watch college basketball. I'm not a big fan of it. Obviously, I like Duke, so I watch Duke, but I've always been I watch high school teams. I keep up with the top high school players. I've always been like that, and obviously the NBA first and foremost. Sticking with, I guess, you talking about making the best choices for yourself, whether it was you going to, Liberty, Duke. You said if you could do it all over again, you'd still go to college, still go to Duke. What was your process of last summer making that free agency choice to Dallas? Because it seems like it was the perfect choice. I mean, you would fit into that team so naturally. What was the thought process in that?
I had a few different priorities that I wanted to fill when it comes to picking the team I wanted to go to. It was the first time in my career I had an actual opportunity to pick where I wanted to go. I had a lot of teams wanted me, and for me, it was first about going somewhere I was comfortable. Obviously, I want to get paid and make some money in my career. So I mean, it's about finding a team that really wants me, and there's a few of those out there. And I mean, I want to be in the same place for a long time for once. You know, I've been a journeyman, been all over the NBA over the past few years. So I want to get settled somewhere, and Dallas is somewhere I knew was comfortable and just a city I love. So I mean, it was an easy choice when they got in the race.
You know, sticking with you making the best choices for you in your career. About college, high school, setting your own path. What was your thought process of last year in the summertime of free agency, and why Dallas seemed like the right fit for you? And clearly you made that choice and it was the right one because you fit in great there. Yeah,
it was dope, and I was excited about it because the first time in my career, like I would actually to choose where I wanted to go. I had a few options, and I had the list of things that I wanted out of a team that I'll go to, and obviously wanted to make some money, get paid, and obviously find a good role that'll fit my game and somewhere I'm comfortable in. And lastly, I want to go to a city that I love. You know what I'm saying? I got a family now, so it got to be somewhere they want to be. If I got a choice, so you know what I'm saying?
No state tax.
No state tax is another lovely one. You all know about that being in Texas, but I mean it was easy come time once Dallas got in the race. You know what I'm saying? It's a great organization.
Was it something where you talked to Mark or you talked to Rick and just felt like a connection right away, or you just felt like a trust right away?
Yeah, I mean I talked to obviously Mark and Donnie Nelson and Rick called me and talked to me and just how they envisioned me back in the system and how much they wanted me to be a part of it. And then I just got on the phone with all the people whose opinions I trust as far as who know the game. So I got on the phone with my pops. I talked to your pops about it. You know what I'm saying? He knows as much as anybody about the league and about the game. Right. So I try to just use those relationships and make the best decision possible.
What other teams were in consideration, or what teams did you have good energy from? I'm sure Portland was another one that you felt like possibly you would come back there after the success you had there.
Yeah, there was a few different teams. I know the Lakers were a team. It seemed like a long time ago, but I know the Lakers were a team. They trying to fill out their roster with shooters and guys that can help Bron and AD. But that they were a team. There was a few others like I can't. It's hard to remember, but.
I remember Houston. Wasn't Houston one of the teams that was kind of looking at you a little bit?
Yeah, I had a couple talks with Houston early on. That would have been good fit. Obviously, that system, just getting up shots and running and gunning would be fun to play in too.
Yeah, and I guess to go right into that, you talk about running and gunning and shooting threes and that. There's definitely a similarity between our teams. Obviously, I play with James Harden. Very ball dominant guy. They say Luka's like the white James Harden. He's got the step back. A lethal scorer, one of the best players. How is it playing with him?
Man, it's great, man. Luka, a young dude who's like beyond his years as far as he never gets scared under pressure. He plays big in big games, and he's done it over and over and over in big situations. So. Him and James are very similar in the way they dominate the ball. They got the ball a lot. They make probably 75% of the plays throughout the game, and they put up big numbers. And it's hard to take the ball out of their hands because they do it over and over every single night. So you got to be ready when the ball comes to you.
Yeah, to say the least, because you don't know when it's coming, but when it's coming, you got to. Those are your opportunities. Would you say Luka's the best player you've ever played with, or is it close between him and Damian? You can go either or.
Dame's done it in the playoffs, so I got to give it to Dame right now, man. Dame is he's established. He's a multi-time All-Star. Like I said, he's advances in the playoffs. I'm giving it to Dame, but Luka's on his way. He can be one of the best to ever do it when it's all said and done.
Did he surprise you with his level of play? You knew he was good, but did you think he was that good? When you played him?
Yeah, but I knew as soon as you get to the team early on and right before training camp, you start playing pickup games, and I just knew he was better than I thought after the first couple of days of pickup because it was just so easy for him. The way he sees the floor is it's similar to LeBron. He's so big, he can see everything, and then he can make the passes too. You know what I'm saying? So you got other point guards and guards who they can pass the ball and they can see some stuff, but they can't always get it there because they don't have the size or whatever creativity, but his passing is ridiculous, man.
Yeah. he surprised me with his shiftiness. I mean, we played him early this year when he gave us 40, and our whole team had a chance to try to stop it. It seemed like each guy had their opportunity. It did not matter to him. He was just giving it to everybody. So
but him and James, they both so big and stronger than you think. So when you got to guard them, like it's those step backs that they do going both ways. It's just tough because you can be right there and they can still knock it down.
Right. And you talk about, playing styles. We both talk about the similarities and how the NBA is now, I guess. But what is your opinion? Obviously, coming from a shooter like you, your dad, Steph, how do you guys feel the game has evolved? Do you like it? Do you think it's better for the NBA that it's now mostly layups and threes? 3 points, 3-pointers dominate the league. Do you like the way? Do you think it's favored, obviously, guys like you, or do you wish it was like the early 90s? We watched this Last Dance and you see how physical, and when they hit a three in those games, you can see the crowd go crazy. It's like, oh my God, he hit a three. Like now where guys are shooting 63s a game, or a team is shooting 63, it's crazy. What do you think?
I mean, it's developed, but I think for the better, man. I think it's more entertaining to watch these days, because those games back in the day would just drag out like 80 to 85 games.
That was the biggest thing from watching The Last Dance. Everybody's asked me like all these opinions. I'm like, do y'all not pay attention to the final scores of these games? It was like 84-79. We got teams scoring 74 at halftime, and then that's when people are like, "Oh, y'all don't play any defense." Like, bro, we really do play defense.
Defense is good. Like, you see the Jordan highlights, but if you go back and watch the game, I'm going back and watch some of those games on like YouTube or whatever. And games like they're boring at certain stretches of the game because nobody can score. Like it's so physical and they play so slow a pace that nobody can score. But I mean, as the pace has gone up, so many more 3-pointers, and it's definitely better for my game and what I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't gotta to bang as much. I can use my skill and my shooting to stretch the floor, and it's open up more opportunity for guys like me. And I can thank Steph for that too.
Y'all definitely have. I always think Steph has. Obviously, I think that Suns team with D'Antoni. I think Mike's actually doesn't get enough credit. D'Antoni for being one of the originators of this. Everybody always talks about Steph and Clay and that team, as rightfully so, but Mike D'Antoni was really one of the original pioneers of like changing the game and playing this fast pace. That Phoenix team, all they did was fire threes, shoot threes. Yeah. They just didn't have the personnel that obviously Steph and Clay and Kevin and all these other guys have. But obviously your brother's the one that really put it on the map to where the league had to catch up. It's a copycat league. We all know that. And as soon as the Warriors had this team.
Yeah, those teams were close, man. They were close to win. They were good enough to win championships back then. They just had some bad breaks going against a couple teams. But, I mean, Mike he don't get the credit he deserves.
Yeah, and it's to the point now. I mean, obviously our team is extreme. I think the Rockets have gone so far that way. We don't even have a big man anymore. You know what I mean? So all right, we'll see how that works out if when this returns, because that's it's crazy. But
bro, I totally forgot about that. Like the season ended like a couple weeks after y'all started doing that. I totally forgot y'all just threw the center position out the window and doing it.
I'm literally down there boxing out like JaVale McGee and like. It's just like, I don't even know what I'm doing down here, bro. I mean, we do it. We get it done. We figured it out. But each game, man, it's just different.
But that's why we need the playoffs. I want to see how that's going to work, man. Because y'all playing good basketball. I want to see what happens in the playoffs, man. Because
you could beat anybody in one game. You know what I mean? I remember the first time we went small ball, we played the Lakers and we beat them. And everybody was like, oh, man, the small ball. And then we lost like 3 or 4 in a row. So then everybody was like, uh-oh, is this not work? Playing a team 7 times, like we play against, because I think right now we're matched up with the Nuggets. Like we got to play Jokic for 7, it's probably like a 5, 6, 7 game series, one way or the other. Like playing against somebody like that, I wonder how it would fare for him or us, because it's either going to work really well or it's not going to work. You know what I mean? Obviously, as a player in the team, I believe it's going to work. I have faith in our coach and in our system, but it'll be difficult. It'd be crazy.
Yeah, I think it's dope to see. Mike always the one jumping out the window trying new stuff, so.
Him and Daryl Morey, man, they pushing that envelope. I want to ask you a question about something. This is something that I don't pay attention to personally. I'll be honest with you. I can't stand this shit, but I've been seeing this on Instagram and stuff over the past week. These all-time rankings. Okay, they have these player all-time rankings. First off, every year they do current player rankings, and it's ridiculous to the point now I don't even think players pay attention to it. But because we have this time off, and I think this Last Dance docuseries, now everybody wants to know who's the greatest of all time. They have MJ 1, LeBron 2, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. You could flip those if you want, but one of the other, MJ or LeBron, are usually 1 or 2, I think, in everybody's mind. They have Kobe 9. They have Kobe 9. They have your brother 13. They have KD 14. They have Kawhi Leonard 25, but Dwayne Wade 26.
Man, listen, I always say this when people try to argue with me about basketball and rankings and stuff. There's a handful of people I argue with who I respect their opinion. And whoever made that article is not one of them, so I really don't want to argue it. But that Kobe win is kind of disrespectful, man.
There's I told someone the other day, like, if you are a current player in the NBA, I'll have this discussion with you. All right. If you coach in the NBA, I'll have this discussion with you. If you did not play in the NBA or coach the NBA, I don't care what your opinion is about the all-time greatest. I really don't care. You don't know. I don't give a fuck if you've studied the game of basketball, whatever the case may be. You've never played. You don't know what it's like playing or working on your craft at that level or competing against those guys. This list was clearly made by guys who didn't make their JV basketball team. You have Dwayne Wade, 26 of all time. But you have, and again, Kawhi Leonard, 26. Kawhi Leonard's a great player. Unbelievable player. I love Kawhi Leonard. He's one of my favorite players in today's game. You can put him, he's easily top 5. He's 25.
Yeah, the way the top 3 shooting guard of all time.
The disrespect is just like, and then Giannis is 27. He's right. There's no way. Again, Giannis is on that way. Giannis is on that way. He's an unbelievable player, but like, there's no way Dwayne Wade should be slotted 1 slot in front of Giannis. He's just done too much. Giannis hasn't yet. I'm sure he will, and this list will change 5 years from now. But like, Dwayne Wade should be somewhere around the top 10. That's just my opinion. Maybe not the top 10, but either in the top 10 or around there, top 15, something like that. You could even make the argument with your brother and KD. It's hard to compare eras. You know what I mean? But like, if you put KD in the 80s or 70s, he would average 90. I think everybody has a right to have an opinion. And I think everybody's opinion should be valued to a certain extent, including these so-called experts at ESPN. But I think with that being said, these experts are the same guys who probably, didn't make their JV basketball team. And these are guys who didn't play in the NBA. I do think players should make this list. I think ex-players should make this list. I would love to hear from whatever former NBA player. I wish that they did a panel together and made this list. That's the type of experts I would like to listen to or have a debate with. Not a bunch of guys who never played before. Not that I don't value their opinion, but I definitely think if you've played in the NBA or coached in the NBA, your opinion should be valued or is at a higher level. I mean, am I saying anything out of pocket here?
A lot of that is clouded by personal feelings. Not, you know what I'm saying? Correct. That's when the problem comes in, where I don't like a certain guy or I'm jealous of a certain guy. So I'm going. And that's where in that sense. That's the problem. That's
why I don't mind using NBA players. I'll say this. I don't mind using NBA players for an all-time list because a lot of it are players that they didn't go against. I wouldn't use players for a current list because NBA players are too competitive and our egos are too big. They're going to leave out certain guys or notch guys back just due to personal views. A lot of people didn't like, I shouldn't say people, a lot of players, I don't want to say they didn't like Steph when he won. They didn't like how much winning and success was happening to him so fast. That or how the media portrayed Steph as being so perfect and this and this and this and this and that had nothing to do with whether they actually thought he should be MVP or not. And that had a lot of say in whether they voted for him or not. You know what I'm saying? So, again, and James, you can make that way could have gone either way. They both could have won MVPs. The last 4 years, James and Steph have been the 2 best players along with LeBron. They could have won at any time. But I think that's definitely where, like, NBA players, like, they chose Donovan over Ben. Ben got so much attention that year. Then obviously his game is not relatable to a lot of NBA players to where he's just kind of bulldozing guys over. Donovan's game is a lot more prettier and fun to watch. And he's a guard. He's quick and it's flashy. Like, guys like, man, I think Donovan's, MVP. And he came out of nowhere. He was an underdog. That's why I don't like players for current lists because they're going to use their own personal agenda.
Yeah, that's why I like how the NBA does it the right way when it comes to All-Star vote. You give players or whatever a majority of the vote, and you give the media and some fans some weight in as well.
I like the current setup of the All-Star voting. I don't mind it.
Yeah, because media and these so-called experts who never play the game, they're not objective either. They have agendas. They got people they like more than others, and people they want to see win MVP over other people. And that's just the way it's gonna be. Like, people are human. They're not weighing everything objectively when it comes to who they think is the top 100 players of all time. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah, I think obviously this is impossible, but the way they do the All-Star thing, like you just alluded to, you have the media, you have the fans, you have players. Everybody kind of gets their turn, and you kind of combine that, and they usually get it right for the All-Star. I think Brad Beal last year not being in the All-Star game was absurd. Brad Beal should have been you could make the case he should have been a starter in the All-Star game. But obviously his team success.
Yeah, that's a coach's vote. That's the coach's vote when it comes to the reserves.
Yeah,
right?
that to me that didn't make sense. There's no way in hell Brad Beal shouldn't be an All-Star. He averaged 30 a game. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I don't even want to.
That's nuts.
There's nothing nobody can tell me. Most players, when they have 30, they go out to dinner after and they celebrate with their family. Like, I had a career high, I had an amazing night, I scored 30. My man averaged 30 every single night and went in the All-Star game. But I wish they could do that for this all-time voting, where like everybody could like combine, but it's just not an important enough topic to where they're going to do that. I would like to rank our top 5. I would like you to go first. What is your top 5 of all time?
All time, my top 5, and this is my top 5. And
go ahead.
I got 1. You got to preface it with this is mine, man. I want to hear all y'all's.
No. This is Seth Curry's top 5. Fuck what anybody else thinks.
Right,
this is you.
I ain't jumping out the window here. We got MJ, Bron, Tim Duncan, Shaq, and Magic. You know what I'm saying? The order in that after MJ and Bron is cool, but that's my top 5.
That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. I don't mind that list at all. I'm gonna go. Mine's very similar in terms of the top 2. I personally do believe Michael Jordan's the greatest player of all time. I actually don't think it's. I mean, I guess you could say it's close, but I just think he's the GOAT for just a multitude of reasons. Number 2 would be LeBron James, easily. Number 3 for me is Kobe Bryant. I'm just such a Kobe fan. And again, I'm so biased because I'm picking guys in my era, but this is just what I believe. 4 for me would be Kareem. And 5 for me would be 5 for me would be Magic.
It's tough. Like Kareem, like I leave Kareem out, man. It's how you leave Kareem out. It's after MJ and Bron, it's like 5 or 6 dudes that can be the last 3 in that
that's the
top
thing.
5.
Like, I'm leaving Larry Bird out. I'm leaving Tim Duncan out. Either of those guys could be there. I mean, you can make the argument. Yeah. We don't know. But in 5 years from now, your brother could be in this conversation. KD could be in this conversation. That's why even them having them at 13 and 14 in my eyes is absurd. I'll be honest. I have so much respect for guys like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell. That's just too far past my era. I've seen so much footage of Kareem and Magic growing up with my pops, and I'm sure you did with yours. It's not too far away. The Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, I'm just not knowledgeable enough in terms of like knowing their game that well, and to where I can compare. And even if I am, that era of basketball is just so much different to this. I can't even compare. I mean, they had like at one point there was like 8 teams in the league. I mean, it's just like Wilt's
so those championships are way. Yeah, it's a little different.
He's playing against 6'6" guys. He's 7 foot. Again, I'm not taking anything against Wilt and Bill. I will say this in their defense. They both get penalized for being in eras that they can't control what era they were brought up in. You know what I mean? Like, Bill Russell's it's not his fault he grew up in that era. It's not Wilt's fault that he dominated the league. I mean, they can only control what they control. So I guess in that sense, they both could easily be in the top 5. It's just too much behind me. I can't put them in there. So I put Magic and Kareem in my top 5. But your top 5 is pretty good. I like Tim. Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah, Tim, man, underrated, man. I think he's one of the most underrated guys. Yeah. Because his style of play wasn't
Tim had the least sexiest game to ever watch.
Facts.
You watch the Spurs play and you just be like, this is just with their basketball. Actually, if you're a fan of actual basketball, it was beautiful basketball.
It was boring, but Tim was a problem.
Yeah, Tim
man.
was a problem.
He
Yeah,
was
he got it done
every year.
All right, yeah, man. Just to wrap this up, Seth. Again, I appreciate your time. We're gonna wrap this up with rapid fire questions, and you don't have to go into too much detail about these questions, but these are just fun little questions I think a lot of fans and people of yours would like to know. What personal item can you not leave behind when you go on road trips?
Oh, my Xbox.
I should have known this. I should have known this. As a professional streamer, Seth got to have his Xbox. Is that something you do just because it takes you away from everything and something for you to get lost into? Just
Yeah, man, I can just stay in my room, order my food, and play video games for most of the night. I'm trying to stay out the street, stay in the room, relax,
stay out of trouble,
and be fresh for the next day, man.
I feel you. Okay, fair enough. How often do you change your basketball shoes?
Often I change my basketball shoes. Probably every 2-3 games, man. I got a lot of kicks from Under Armour that they just keep throwing me. So, and I'm kind of like, if I have a good game, then I'll come back to those shoes. But I change them every 2 or 3 games.
Okay. What movie have you watched the most times, I guess, ever in your life? What movie have you turned on and watched the most? What's your go-to or favorite movie?
Oh, I say Blue Street.
Blue Street.
Classic.
Okay.
Blue Street. Yeah.
And what's your favorite?
I used to watch that every day.
Are you a Martin Lawrence fan?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So to piggyback off that, what's your favorite basketball movie of all time?
Favorite basketball movie is probably Love and Basketball.
Okay. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah, that is a pretty good one. I do like Love and Basketball. Okay. What is your hidden talent?
My hidden talent?
Yeah.
Man. My hidden talent probably, I'm pretty good at hunting and fishing. You know what I'm saying? I used to go out.
You know how to hunt?
Into the woods. Yeah, I can hunt and fish a little bit. My dad's a country.
Well, what do you guys hunt for?
So he used to take me with him.
So this is a secret to y'all shooting. Y'all actually shoot for real.
Hey, on and off the court. You know what I'm saying? We hunt little dove hunting, deer hunting. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get killed by Peter, but
Right. Shout out to Peter, man. What's your I guess that is your hidden talent is hunting and fishing.
I mean, I don't know if you're gonna call it talent, but I'm not
people
bad
do that for a living. I would say that's a talent.
That's true.
Okay,
That's true.
So something you wish you were good at, but you're not.
I wish I could sing a little bit better, man.
Yeah.
I like to sing around the crib, in my room, but I know I'm horrible.
That would actually be mine. If I actually had one talent, that would be, if I could have one thing in my life,
if I could sing, it'd be over with.
It'd be over with? You'd be true light skin? Would you have an album out?
Of course. Of course.
Can I ask what your...
I be providing all the hooks for everybody out there right now.
At the top of your head, what would your what would your R&B album, what would the name be?
Oh, man. It's tough. I don't know. There's something with be a light-skinned assassin. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. It'll be something.
Curry and the sauce.
Most creative when it comes to names. Curry sauce?
Yes, something like that. Late nights with Curry, or I don't know what it's gonna be. What's your favorite go-to R&B song?
Favorite go-to R&B song? Anything Drake, man.
I already knew this.
That's my guy. Anything Drake. Rap, R&B, pop.
You played
go.
Take Care more than anybody I've ever heard in my life. I mean, you literally almost ruined to Take Care for me. I every single day, every day. That's all this guy listened to. All right, last question.
I'm still playing it.
You still playing it? Once the lockdown is completely over, the first place you're going to is?
I'm not gonna say the gym because
right.
That's a little cliche, but probably on vacation, man. I'm going to Mexico, Cabo or somewhere and kick back and relax, man. I can't wait to get back out of the country.
Just start traveling again and being normal, doing the things that you used to do.
Facts.
Yeah, yep. That's fair enough. All right, man. Shit, that's it, man. I appreciate you coming on here taking time, man. I know you got a lot going on.
Yes, sir, bro. Appreciate y'all time, man. Y'all take it easy.